Well, we've got a little knife from CRKT called the Trask. It's a 5375. This one has got the deadbolt lock. So that's a unique locking mechanism devised by Flavio Icoma. And I met him on a couple of occasions, and he went over this with me, disassembled it, and showed me the lock mechanism. And it's an interesting mechanism because you keep your fingers out of the way, and you do that. When I first got, push in, okay. When I first got this knife, it wasn't able to do that, okay? But here's the thing. You can adjust the detent. See that little hole right there, that little silver one? Number 6. You can okay, I've tightened it up. Okay? Ooh, barely got it open. Okay? So if you don't want it to drop real well, you want it stiffer, you can do that. Okay? And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's not centered, because it's not centered. I don't know why it wasn't centered, but it's not centered. But it's not hitting come on. It's not hitting the liner, thank God. Now, I'm going to release this a bit, because I'm going to back it back off to where I wanted it. You can go, well, let me just go this far. Let's just really spin it. See? Isn't that crazy? Okay, so you want it like that with virtually zero detent? Watch this. See? Watch this. It just falls out like that. No, you probably don't. So I'm coming back to it, and you can start feeling that tension. Okay? But it'll shake out pretty easy. So you might want to give it a little bit more. Okay. Now, so you can adjust that. Interesting, isn't it? Keep going. Okay, that's a little tougher. Okay, but you can still snap it open with the middle finger flick, or just open it up with your thumb. Very easy to do. It's not a big knife. It's and it's not terribly expensive. It's not incredibly inexpensive though. $99 online. Of course, 10% if you use LTK as a discount code on White Mountain Knives. I mean, this works for all their products, by the way, as many times as you want. But this will knock it down to about 90. So, basically it's going to be $10 off. And, here's the stats. 4.5 closed length, 3 3.25 blade length, and then it's got the glass reinforced nylon handles, blue backspacers, accents, etc., and designed by Eric Ochs. And this one I got from Mass Drop, and of course this one's RWL34, probably made by Riot on drop, and this was the Mass Drop thing. And of course this has the purple Mokutai accents. So this Orca is, and it's a liner lock, and this is all carbon fiber. Yeah, I just really like this knife. I refuse to give it up because it's just incredible. So, and of course Eric Ochs is a custom knife maker, so I can't afford his customs, but I afforded the Orca, And then this Trask was interesting because of the Deadbolt. There's another model that's currently out for 2021. It's got the Deadbolt, but I'm not that excited about the design of it. This one is better. Probably not my ultimate fantasy design, but it's better. And whoa, baby, that's sharp. That's really sharp. Okay. Yeah, that's really, really sharp. Comes in, you know, your normal CRKT box here. And gives you a little bit of information on the Deadbolt system, etc. And it actually gives you, you know, an exploded picture of how this hardened steel piece comes through here. And then this, you can unscrew. You can actually just take this off and the Deadbolt lock will still work. Okay. Pause and read if you want. But yeah, Flavio Icoma, he just took his tool. I think it's an 8, number 8, and let me pull this off and get me a number 8 back in here, and just took it off like this and dumped it. Okay, so now this is out. But it still works, right? It still works. It'll still lock up. So that's pretty unique. And we'll do a disassembly on this knife. Take a look inside a little closer. And let's put you back together, buddy. Okay. Very simple mechanism, but that piece of hardened steel, both of those that are going into there, I think when they did their torture tests on the Deadbolt, they broke the blade off, okay? They didn't break the lock. So, and they were hanging hundreds and hundreds of pounds on there. So, that's pretty incredible. So if you're looking for a knife, if you're looking for a knife that has a lock that is almost unable to fail, then this might be it, as opposed to like a frame lock or an axis lock or a liner lock, that kind of thing. The triad lock, it's a good lock. So this would be right in that category. This might actually be stronger. Interesting, they're doing it on several different knives, because the guys at CRKT are allowed to use the Deadbolt lock. Not just the person who designed it. And so you got that blue, you got a blue backspacer. I was trying to look at those screws, they're not blue. Deep carry pocket clip, right hand only. Right hand only. The screws, the heads of the screws are elevated. It'd be nice if they were flat. That'd make it easier. And if you look at like the Civivi Vexor, they're flat. Here, they're not flat. So it does cut down on your clearance when you put it in your pocket. Let's take a look at the weight on this thing, because it feels substantial. 123 grams, so it's not a lightweight. Yeah, 4.3 ounces. Okay. And it's not a terribly big knife either. So, it outweighs the Paramilitary 2, but it's not as big a knife as the Para 2. 3 3/4. 3 1/4, and it's a little bit more than 3 1/4 actually. just shy of 3 inches on cutting length, and about, what, 85 millimeters overall. 17 and 3/4 inches at 19 and a half, not quite 20 centimeters. Blade stock. 0.13 at 3.3 millimeters, 3.2. And overall thickness 14.8 at 0.58. So yeah, you can tell it fills your hand up. The ergos are pretty good because this is very neutral here. So my first 2 fingers go there, the rest of them there. That's comfortable. If I want to move up, I can move up. There's no jimping up here on top of the blade, up here anywhere. You know, the fit and finish seem to be relatively decent throughout the knife, except for this. And that's a little disappointing. When I take it apart, put it back together, we'll see if that solves anything, but I don't know. That's too bad that it's off like that. And I wish I had taken a picture when it first came out of the box to make sure it wasn't my fault, but I haven't had the knife apart. So I think this is the way it's been. I have adjusted the detent, and that's it. Where's my balance on this? Well, balance is pretty far forward, right? Pretty much under that stop here. Design flow is pretty good here. And of course, he's a professional knife maker of renown, so okay. Blade to handle length is adequate, yes. I can't touch the tip of that, and I can't touch the edge of this either, so that's good. That's good. So what do you think? Are we just going to pop this back apart again and dump that part out just like that? There you go. I'm surprised it didn't fall out the first time I did this. That's amazing. But see, the short and the long here, the short and the long of it is that it goes back in the short and the long. But there's your lock. So you're going to have to break this off. You're going to have to break this whole damn thing off to break the lock. Let's just take this front scale off here to start with. How about that? Come on, break it up. All right, can we just pull this off? There we go. So there's the front scale. The screws are still in it. And yeah, it's machined out to where it's accounting for this here, which is this detent bar. Okay, and there's your detent ball. All right, and then your adjustment, if you hold this over here, your adjustment is this screw right here. So this screw will either come up and relax, or it'll go down and push that detent ball tighter. Interesting, huh? And then this is skeletonized on the scale. I mean on the liner scale, God. And let's just take this whole thing apart. What the heck? I'm sure we've already voided the warranty, right? Keep this out of the way. Pocket clip. Pull this sucker off. And I don't know how much of this I really have to take off to pull this scale, but I'm just going to go ahead and take it anyhow. Okay, there's my pocket clip. There goes my scale. So you've got screws on this on this side, just to be aware, you got screws on the back side that are going all the way through, see? And when I took the scale off, I saw the ends of those screws going, well, okay, you got to take them to be able to pull this liner off. So let's take them off, because otherwise this liner's not going to come free. Woo. Interesting setup, the way they've got this assembled. Okay. This is unscrewing. It's just mighty scary. God only knows what we're going to end up with here. Into the unknown. Okay. Let's flip it over. Okay, there's your front. There's your detent ball, all that kind of good stuff. Here's your IKBS bearings. Here's your blade. And, okay, IKBS underneath. Blade stop. And there we go. There's this. So this is threaded through here. And so it actually threads into your front liner. All right. So here's your travel for your deadbolt. Interesting. Really interesting. So I think we've gone down the rabbit hole. Look at this crazy sucker. I'm going to check this. It's probably aluminum then, because it's not magnetic. And I'll guarantee it's probably not titanium. So you've got your front scale. And that's probably an aluminum piece in here too. And that's got to lay down a certain way in here, doesn't it? See where these little tabs are? That's got to meet right in there. So that collar fits right there. And that's where it has to be. So you got this front collar and the scale. Here's where your detent adjustment is. Scale screw. I still got one back here. Damn it. I guess these two, one is for the front and one's for the back scale. Then probably the other scale screw is somewhere else. Okay. So we can reassemble this. Shouldn't be that difficult. Here's the, the pivot from the back right here. Here's your pivot screw from the back, and that's of course hidden, but yeah, a lot of thread locker on there, and it comes through here, and then it's going to screw into the front liner as well. So here's where you are, and then of course you got these screws that go all the way through to the liner on the other side as well. Somewhere in here you got to have some bearings, and I'm going to face them this way instead. And then I'm going to put a little bit of lube on here. And then lay this on. Okay. And there should be some bearings right there too. And what am I missing besides my stop? Okay, oop, moving out of camera range there, but got my stop, and then of course this is going to be on the inside because this has got to engage that detent ball. And then of course I need this here engaged, and that's coming through with, don't let these fall out. These two need to be right there, and I should have put them on first, but okay. Just plunk it on. Come on, buddy. Okay, we're through. We got to get that over there. Now, the thing is, we got a lot of stuff to screw in because this screws into that front liner. So we got to do that. And then before we get too far, we got to screw these also into the front liner. And it looks like there's little, here's your front scale. So that's going to account for the fact that you've got some screw still sticking through there. But we have this now screwed down in place. Let's just make sure we got it snugged up. And we got our blade stop in there. So we should be good. I might want to I don't know that they snug this down terribly. Okay. Let's just leave it in that position there. Okay, we can put our back scale on that. I mean, as good as I can tell, we can. Whoop. Come on, come on. There you go. Oh, hold on. Okay, now we're good. We could do pocket clip here in a minute. I'm looking around for any other pieces, but you can kind of tell what goes where when you look at these holes. This long piece goes up on top, the shorter piece on the bottom. And, of course, you flip this over here. And I guess I could just go ahead and sink this one scale screw into place. Okay. And then, of course, drop the spring in here. And the this rod, and I need number 8. Come here. Okay. Before that falls out the back. Okay, push and turn. Not going to make contact if we don't push. Okay, now we're there. And we're still out of center, so that didn't make a big difference, did it? One more screw to put in here. Nah, didn't help us. And I don't know why. It's not very often that I get a knife where the blade's not centered, so I guess it's a bigger deal to me because I hear from people all the time about certain brands where blade's not centered and other issues, but that doesn't happen to me very often. One final, of course, is to put the pocket clip back on. And we'll do that right now. And one more, come on, guide it in. Okay, there we go. There. And there. Yeah, ooh, okay. All right, so we got the Trask back together. You know, I've got the action set the way I like it, and you can adjust that, so that's a good thing. It's sharp out of the box. It's D2 steel. It's versatile. It's not real big. It's thicker, so it is a handful. This might be a good working knife because you can really trust this lock. It's very simple, and also you're not putting your fingers in the way of the blade when you're disengaging the lock, so it's relatively fidget friendly as well. I'm going to take leave, so you guys subscribe if you'd like to. I'd really appreciate that because you know what we do around here. We love them knives, so you guys stay sharp.